Bruce on vacation. This is why you have me sitting next
I'd like to call this meeting to order.
Yes. Denham. LeBlanc. Hinckley. Williams. Stepp. Milton.
Here.
Janice. Schultz. Mary, have a quorum.
Thank you. To start off our regular agenda, we're going to give, first we need to approve the Finance Committee meeting minutes for September 28th, 2023. It's a regular meeting, and the October 26th, 2023 joint meeting, and December 7th, 2023 regular meeting. These are back in, this is just, we didn't approve these, just cleaning up?
Yep.
Okay, has everybody a chance to review those?
We didn't approve the 28th meeting because it was a joint meeting in October, so we don't do approvals when we do the joint meeting. And then in December, we did not have a quorum.
Oh, fair enough. So I'd entertain a motion to approve.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. We'll now review and acknowledge the disbursements of $45,000 and over January through March of '24. And we have any questions on those? Hearing none, I'll entertain a motion to approve. We have a motion and a second. So all in favor, say aye. Opposed, same sign. Ayes have it. And now we'll get the first quarter financial update from Cherie.
Hello.
Hi.
Good morning, and welcome to our two new Finance Committee members. We have Mark and Glenn, so thank you for joining us. We're excited. Okay, so we're going to get started. All right. Let's see if I can get this working. All right, so first we have is our gross sales tax for all governmental funds. And so what we have is we have a 3-year comparison. So we have 22 in blue, 23 in red, and 24 in yellow. And we have our 4 major tax revenue groups. So we have the general fund, which is the city sales tax revenue, the tourism tax, the transportation tax, and the public safety tax represented here. So in 2024, on the general fund, we collected a little over $4 million for that tax, and that was a 9.4% increase from 23. On the tourism fund, in 24, we collected $2.5 million in revenue, and that was a 3.3% increase over 23. On the transportation fund, we collected a little over $2 million in 24 year to date. This is from January through March, year to date. And that's an increase of 10.3% from 23. And then on the public safety tax in 24, we collected a little over $2 million on that as well, and that's a 10.9% increase over 23.
Very nice.
Okay. So the next slide is our general fund. And again, I did a 3-year comparison. So you have 22 revenue and expenditures, 23 revenue and expenditures, and 24 revenue and expenditures. For 24, we have revenues of $8.8 million, and we have expenditures of $5.9. The revenues increased from 23 of almost $500,000, and the expenditures also increased of $154 from 23. And we had a year-end fund balance of $12.5 million. Okay. Our next slide is our tourism fund. And again, it's the same format. We have 3-year comparison, so 22 revenue and expenditures, 23 revenue and expenditures, and 24 revenue and expenditures. In 24, we have revenue so far of $2.8 million and expenditures of $550,000. 24 revenue is an increase of almost 80,000 compared to 23 at this time. And the expenditures are lower, 240 compared to 23.
Cherie, before you move on,
Yes?
do you know what that's a significant difference on expenses from 22 of $1.9 million compared to 550,000 in 24. Do you know what that?
I do know the difference in 23. It was our transfers out because we were putting money it was for big projects. So I would assume that's the same. I didn't go back to 21, but the transfers out are included in that. So it would be money being put it back for big projects.
Okay, thank you.
The next slide is the transportation fund, and it's the same format. So we have 22 revenue expenditures, 23 revenue and expenditures, and 24 revenue and expenditures. For 24, we have revenues of 2.2 million, and we have expenditures of 1.8 million. And we know year-to-date that the revenues increased almost 180,000 over 23, and the expenditures, they are 346 higher than 23. And I can tell you what the increases are. We have about a 23,000 increase in garage. We had a 121,000 increase in streets, a 10,000 increase in signs, and then we put an extra 133 into our internal service fund for future projects. So. Okay. Next, we have the public safety fund, and it's the same format. In 2024, we had revenues of 4.2 million, and we had expenditures of 6.1 million. Now, I know that sounds like it's flip-flopped, but we have a lot going on this year. So we transferred out 2.3 additional million this year for capital. We have the fire station and the police station that we're saving up for. So that was the big projects. 900,000 for the police station and 1.5 for the fire. Okay, next we have the water and sewer fund, and it's the same format as the others. In 2024, we have revenue of 2.5 million, and we have expenditures of 3.6. The revenue did increase over last year of 230,000, and the expenditures increased 255,000. Now, the increase in revenue was because we did increase our rates, and that was to offset the increase in personnel costs. So that's why you're seeing the increase in the expenditures as well.
So.
Oh, yes, sir.
Just looking at this one slide, that's not sustainable, right? So where does the shortage come from?
Well, the shortage is we did a refund this year for, we refunded almost 45,000 for the commercial residential upgrade. So we had that we refunded this year. So that would make up the difference. So it's really almost pretty well perfect, just a little bit above the rate increases.
I'm looking at 2.4 for revenue and 3.6 for expenses in 24.
The rest of that is transfers for capital projects.
Okay.
Yeah, because that includes our transfers out.
Fair enough.
But when you look at the revenue coming in and out, it was just like a $30,000 difference, and we had that $45,000 credit.
Fair enough.
So they're sitting good. And then our last slide is our Parks and Rec. And we do have a lot of expenses for 2024, but we did a lot already. So in 24, we have revenues of 605,000, and we have expenditures of 3.1. But with the expenditures, 2.4 million of that is our capital projects, which is the turf, and then we have also started the campgrounds. So we were expecting this to happen. We're spending our money that we have saved up for those two big projects.
Mark, I'm sorry, if you'd push your button and speak into the mic, there's people that are listening online.
Gotcha, thank you. Just have a question. A lot of the other ones have reserves at the end of this. I don't see any reserves for the
Yes.
Parks and Rec fund.
I didn't put, it's a little confusing because at the end of March, it shows 1.5 to the negative, but we're not really. Our our turf project, we have 1.6 in grants, but it's reimbursable. So we're going to be getting 1.3 back. And then we also have an internal service loan of 1.3 for the campground, but the campground was finished April 5th. So that will be in April. So it's just a timing thing.
Understood, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, and then next is our tourism tax by class, and this is based on actual collection, so there will be a 1-month lag on this. So when you see January, it was actually based on activity in December. And I can go through some of this, like, so the, like amusements, they're down year-to-date 7%. Theaters are actually up year-to-date 1.6%. Hotels and motels are up 12% year-to-date. Campgrounds are up, it says 106%, but basically they're doubled. We had a really good December. It says January, but December, yeah.
Maybe we should expand the camp. We can discuss it.
Nightly rentals are down 1.3% year-to-date, and restaurants are up 1.6% year-to-date. And this is just the cumulative city sales tax and tourism tax. The city sales tax is 9.4% year-to-date over 23, which was 23 was an all-time high. So we are still seeing huge increases. So really good for the city of Branson. And then the pre-COVID numbers is still a 31.3% increase over 2019. So just record growth. And then with the tourism tax, we have a 4.5% increase over 23 as well. So, cumulative. And that is it for my report.
Cherie, question, Cherie.
Yes.
Would it be possible or make sense on your initial fund charts to separate or to split the expense bars between capital funding and actual expenses?
I can.
Because, it just always begs the question, why are the bars so high? And if that was actually depicted on the bar that, well, a big chunk of that was capital transfers. Or,
Right. And then on the actual financial statements, we have it, and then we have capital transfers in the section. But capital transfer, it can get really confusing, but if you want me to try it that way, I most definitely will.
I'd ask the rest of the board what they
Yes.
really would like to have.
That's a good
but
point.
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for the suggestion. Okay, and up next, we have Ruth Smith and Melinda Martin from Hilton, and they will be doing the next presentation.
Do we have a slide? Oh, thank you. No. It's okay. So, hello, everybody. You gotta get the right slide. Yeah. There it is. There it is. Okay, good. Okay, so this is our first quarter convention group sales that we did collectively.
Excuse me, could you use the microphone, please?
This is the first quarter group sales that we did collectively with the convention center. We do have a total of 6,117 room nights.
Excuse me a second. Can we enlarge that by chance? There you go. Thank you.
Okay, and of that, we had 2,800 of that represents our legacy accounts, meaning that they've been coming since 2014 or before. And then I wanted to give kudos to the Branson Convention and Visitors Bureau. They brought, sorry, mine's smaller than yours. I'm just gonna look up here. The American Quilters, the Missouri Beta, and the National High School Rodeo. Those leads came from the CVB. So wanted to give a shout out to Samantha. Okay, you want to talk about the trade shows?
Yeah, the trade shows for first quarter that we attended were Rendezvous South and CMCA. CMCA is Christian Meeting Planners Event. Rendezvous South is more of the corporate side and a few association.
That's really all we wanted to discuss. Any questions?
Legacy accounts are 2 years or more. What's the definition?
Basically, they've been coming since we opened.
Well, that is legacy.
Yeah, yeah, so either 2010 or before, yeah.
Very nice.
Wonderful repeat business. I think that's a good reflection on the service that they're getting.
You bet.
And
It's
the
a
sales
direct
process.
reflection on that,
Absolutely,
right?
yeah. So thank you for the opportunity. We'll see you guys next quarter.
Anybody have any questions on this?
Okay, and next we have our capital project update. And I think Matt was up first, so here you go, Matt.
Good morning.
Hello, Matt.
Michael's timing on vacation was impeccable on this one. So I'll just run through real quick the major capital projects we have currently going. I'll start off with 76, segments 1 and 2. Currently, we're in a 60% contract phase. Drawings are approximately 70%. We're in the utility adjustments and easement acquisition phase of that. So it's a very important phase, of course. Easements, if anybody knows, segment 3 is a trying process, I guess is the best way to say that. The utility companies have responded well. We've got 2 or 3 responses from 2 of the 5 utility companies. So that is where that process lies right now. And construction-wise, we're looking at scheduling that for January 1st currently. So that is the schedule.
Excuse me, Matt. I just wanted to make it clear for those that are listening that this, like you said, right now for phases 1 and 2 of 76, we're currently looking at breaking ground on January 1st.
Yes.
Going out to bid October 30th. And we have a few benchmarks that we're focused on to reach those goals, including the funding. But I just wanted everybody to know that January 1 is our target date to start.
It is.
Thank you.
And we are pushing hard for that.
Yeah.
Historic Downtown Phase 4, we have received RFQs back. We've negotiated with Great River Engineering. We are awaiting signatures on that contract for design. And once we receive that, we'll start design on that with an estimated plan submission date of October and bidding it at the same time following that with shovels in the ground, once again, January 1st to accommodate downtown businesses and the slower time, at least initially. So that is the plan on that.
I know we had one citizen request. Is that January 1st date pretty solid?
It is right now. That was a hard deadline in the RFQ process. That was part of actually the evaluation process of making sure that they were following the schedule that we had laid out to the best of their ability. So part of that process is, and this is on top of all the other stuff, part of the process that we've instituted now on that project and future projects is, should these projects bust with the bid for construction, redesign of that project is not an additional cost to the city. The engineers or architects are on the hook to design that at their own expense, redesign it at their own expense. So we're trying to be fiscally responsible with the money that we have for these projects and still meet the budgets that are out there for them. So.
Kathy,
Is the GRE contract negotiation on schedule? Was that per the original project schedule?
Yeah, it is. They've actually took a little bit of risk on themselves and started surveying.
Yeah, I know.
So they haven't signed the contract. It's in DocuSign currently. They have not signed it yet, but they have already started surveying and been surveying for the last 2 weeks on the project. So they wanted to meet the timetable. That was their request, is if they could go down there and start, and they have started. So.
And that was positively noted by the downtown businesses.
yes. Kathy, excuse me a second, Matt. Kathy, would you have either a study session or an agenda item so we can update everybody, especially downtown, but update everybody of when we're talking about phase 4 and maybe even phase 5, what specific improvements we're looking at doing?
Happy to do that, or we could even add it as just a report out in one of the upcoming Alderman meetings, if you'd like.
That'd be great.
So we can do it that way, too. I think that'd probably be better. Okay, yeah, we'll do that.
And maybe, since you're in an agreeable mood, maybe we could add some of that information on our website. So anybody interested asking the question, what are we doing downtown, or what are we planning on doing downtown? So we can make sure we're all on the same page. Good? Thank you. Wow, that was 2 yeses. Let me ask another one. No, go ahead, Matt.
All right. Next up is Highway 165 and 76 intersection. That improvement has been on the budget for a while. We have submitted or released an RFQ for that, got RFQs back from the engineering firms. We are negotiating pricing on that and currently expect that Monday for that intersection. The winner of that was CJW out of Springfield, Missouri. So that's where that one stands. Next is, everyone's probably heard about this, but we've got Elevate Branson. That project is out for bid currently. The bids are coming back the 30th? Yeah, 30th. And those will be opened and read aloud on that. So that one's exciting for Elevate to get going. We are providing oversight on the public improvements that is CDBG funded. So,
Very nice.
next is, there are 2 different items. It's Caudale Way and Celtic Bridge. 2 different capital projects according to the schedule, but we have combined the plan set for ease of use and to try and move these projects a little faster. Those projects we've completed design on them. They are being revised currently after third-party comments were received from an outside engineering firm on those, and we will be bidding them out hopefully within the next 30 days on that. And then the last 2 is Transportation Master Plan. That was awarded to CJW a month ago, and I should back up. That was not awarded. We are waiting pricing from them, which should also come in Monday on that. And that will be a master plan essentially over all city streets. So for that project. And then the last one is Cliff Drive Stormwater Improvements. That one is in design currently. We've contracted with Cochran Engineering out of Ozark. And that's a 6-month design, and they have been in that contract for 2 months. So they're moving along nicely on that. If there's any other questions, I can.
Matt, do you know where we are with the Hiawatha Heights improvements?
That'll be, Kendall has all the information on that one.
Okay.
That is his project. We're lending
I didn't know Kendall was reporting on this. I just wanted to put you on the spot.
Not a worry.
You handled it well. Uh-oh.
Oh, the big one I forgot. Branson PD. Currently, that just went out for bid yesterday at 1:40 afternoon. We have several contractors already listed on Demand Star for that, and it'll open 5/23, May 23rd is the opening date on that, with a pre-bid next week. So, mandatory pre-bid. So, it's exciting. A lot of stuff going on.
Before I ask, what are you
Before
going
you
to say?
ask, Mayor, I'm ready for you this morning. We do plan on having a public presentation of what those plans look like after we get the bids back, after we get a little bit further along in the negotiations and contract drafting, et cetera. But we will have a study session in order to open that up to the public so everybody can see what it looks like. And there'll be many decision points along the way in this process, but we're very, very excited. And Michael, Matt, their teams, everybody that's been involved, which is really a citywide project. So every time we say it's the police project, it's like the whole city's involved in this. We have just kept the pedal to the metal, and you guys have done an absolutely outstanding job.
Thank you.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to tell you, it's exciting to hear a report of our capital improvement projects. Your department must be huffing and puffing.
We're
Appreciate-
juggling. We're doing a lot of juggling.
Appreciate you very much.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Hi.
So I'm going to be reporting on the utilities capital projects this morning. Got a little bit of PowerPoint here, make sure I can work this. Okay, so the first project we want to highlight is our Compton Drive flood protection project. The project is currently under construction with 100% of the wall material installed. The project total is roughly at 75% complete. The current area of focus right now is the entry gate structure and interior stormwater control and effluent gate structure as well. We faced some challenges with this project as it's very unique. As construction evolved, we identified the existing effluent pipe, which is the pipe that conveys the treated wastewater to Lake Taneycomo. It was leaking inside the treatment facility, been leaking for some years. This caused some conflicts with the contractor's work, and we ended up having to replace that effluent line. We also ran into some challenges with a couple sheet pairs on the east side of the wall, which would not drive to full refusal at first, and then the contractor came back in and tried it again after the rest of the wall material was completed, and ended up installing the sheets to refusal, which means down to bedrock. It took them approximately all day long just to get those 2 sheets driven in, where they normally are able to accomplish around 20 sheets a day. So it was a little challenging in that one area, but however, we had 2,200 feet of wall to install, and just having trouble with 2 sheets is pretty remarkable. So we had a lot of preliminary engineering work that went into play to help with this project, and so the project just went very well. We also ran into a little bit of electrical design conflicts that we worked through. Also, we ran into some delays with the existing electrical services with Liberty Utilities as well. So I'm working through some change orders, trying to negotiate those change orders down for some minimal cost there. So those are ongoing discussions right now. However, we're trying to chop away at that to just save some dollars as well. As far as the grants go, we originally was awarded $13 million in grants. We have requested an amendment to our grant to include the purchase or design, install, and purchase of 3 backup generators for emergency power out of the remaining $2 million that we've not used out of that grant funds. So we're working through that process right now to hopefully capture onto those dollars. I've got some pictures for you. Here's an aerial or drone shot that we took. You can see the perimeter of the wall has been installed itself. Here's the gate entry structure, a lot of rebar, a lot of concrete that gets poured in this area, where it'll be set up to slide in these portable panels during a flood event to block the water from coming into the treatment facility. Here's a picture of the east exterior of the wall. You can see the final grading that's taking place, some erosion control measures. This is a picture of the interior of the west wall. In the picture, you can see some white dash marks along the wall there. That's actually the design height of the wall. The wall will be cut down to meet that elevation. And then here's a picture of the effluent pipe that we had to replace, and as well as the effluent structure, which is the wooden frame forming that they had to install to pour the concrete for that effluent structure. Massive hole, a lot of excavation took place there. So next project I'll talk about would be Hiawatha Heights. So currently we're in the design phase. We're at roughly 90% on the plans. We've reviewed those plans and provided comments back to the, or we will be providing comments back to the engineer today or this week on those plans. Some challenges we faced with this project was We discovered during the survey work that we didn't have as much right-of-way what we anticipated beyond the curb of the streets. So we have a lot of water meters and fire hydrants and service line connections that are outside of the right-of-way. So we're going to have to obtain easements from property owners. And then when Hiawatha Heights was also created as a subdivision, they did not incorporate utility easements along the perimeters of the lots. So that faced some challenges for us where we've got to go in and get approximately 120 easements from property owners. So right now the easements are being created, and our plan for this is to hold a public or a neighborhood meeting, probably at one of the local churches, and try to gather as many of the property owners in one spot, give them an update of the project, and have notaries available and get the easement signed at that point. So trying to knock out a lot of them at one time. So we're working through that. We still hope to be out to bid in July for the project, which will put construction starting sometime around September to either late August to September is what I'm projecting. And it'll carry over through the wintertime as it's a large project. And also with paving shutting down usually in November, we'll have to pave next spring when that season opens back up again. So our Lakewood Estates, or Lakeview Estates neighborhood water system improvement design that's budgeted for this year, we have released a request for qualifications, which those submissions are due on May 2nd. Once we receive those, we'll select a committee to review those and to select an engineer for the design of that project. So our goal is to be under design in late June, early July for that Lakeview Estates neighborhood as well.
Kendall, would you have on record, would you state why you're choosing Lakeview Estates as the second neighborhood?
Certainly. So originally, we actually, Lakeview Estates actually ranked #1 on our list for water system improvements, and it's based off of a ratio of the footage of water lines in that neighborhood compared to the number of water main breaks we've had. And so we created a ratio there to understand which subdivision is a higher priority. So with Lakeview Estates being right next to the Compton Drive project, we decided to start Hiawatha Heights first because we didn't want to have two major projects in that area running at the same time, and we didn't know how much disturbance Compton Drive was going to cause to that neighborhood, and so we wanted to limit the impact to that area as much as possible. So we moved on to Hiawatha Heights, and so then we're backing up and taking care of Lakeview Estates because of the number of water main breaks that's been in that area.
So how much were you influenced by the fact the mayor lives in this subdivision?
That was zero influence.
Yeah. Just for the record.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. All right, so the next project that's currently under construction is our Lift Station 46. So this is a commitment that was made by the city back in 2007 to convey wastewater from an area outside the city limits of Branson. It serves the Whisper Cove and Majestic States subdivision. And it was all in an effort with the county to try to prevent a private treatment facility from being installed near Table Rock Lake. So we were looking out for the area environmentally. We had sewer in the Fall Creek Valley, which is in this area right here. And so it took a gravity main extension up to 265, and then the developer installed the force main up into connect to that gravity line, and then we cost shared in the lift station construction with the developers and the city. This project it was engineered back in 2019. We're waiting on funding. We managed to secure $855,500 from the sewer sales tax funding to fund the majority of the project. And it's well underway. They're installing pumps and valve vaults and controls and emergency generator. It's scheduled to be completed by the end of May. So
Kendall, this is the meeting that you and I had with the Taney County Commissioners, is that correct?
This is one of the three. So we had 3 lift stations I'll
Okay.
highlight today. And we had 2 other ones that we got a pretty significant amount of money for as well.
Yeah, I just wanted to publicly acknowledge and appreciate the Taney County Commissioners
Yeah.
for participating in these funds.
Yep, certainly so. Here's a couple pictures of the wet well work and valve vault work, and some electrical and control panels supports that they've got out there right now. So projects is going well. This is the second of the 3 lift stations that you mentioned there, and this is lift station 10. This is located just below Best Buy, just off of Bird Road. And it's an existing lift station that the city has operated for several years. It serves not only the city of Branson customers, but also properties outside the city limits. So the county also cost shared in this, or actually are fully funding this project through the sewer sales tax for the $876,200. So again, it'd be consisting of updated pumps, going from a 4-pump system to a 2-pump system with elevated controls and generator as well. We did experience a flood event at this location. There's a box culvert that comes across the Bee Creek intersection right here, and it actually plugged up at one time. And we lost a generator and lost some controls during one of the flood events. And so we are elevating those controls up on a platform to try to prevent future loss. That project has been bidded, and we selected and are under contract with Excel Excavating. We are looking to start that in June. The excavators, the company that's doing that is working through their supply vendors to firm up delivery dates so that we can set a start date.
What's that red line?
The red line, this red line would be the force main that leaves that lift station. It comes up through next to Yakov's properties.
Okay.
And then dumps into a gravity sewer next to the Mercy Clinic, and then crosses 65 over to the Compton plant.
Thank you.
So this will be the 3rd lift station 34. It's located out on the end of Austin Avenue off of 165, just below Table Rock Village subdivision. It serves Table Rock Village, Chateau Hotel, and then Chateau Mountain, Chateau Cove developments, as well as the condos at Majestic Point. Again, this project's fully funded by the Taney County Sewer Sales Tax for the $880,925. Same contractor as lift station 10. Similar project is installing pumps, controls, generator, and this one will have an equalization basin for high flows as well. And then I wanted to highlight some additional projects. We have our wastewater master plan update. So HDR Engineering is working in the background on our water and wastewater model. Our Pacific Tower office renovation, so we're working with Butler Rosenberry Partners on design right now. We've had some conversations on the staircase. We've went down and looked at the convention center's staircase. They did some remodel on it here last year, if I remember right. They had some similar issues as what we had with ours, with corrosion. So that project is moving forward. The sewer CIPP lining and manhole rehabilitation project, we had a 2023 contract that's carried over into 2024, as well as a new budget item for 2024 to add additional lines. So the same contractor that won the bid last year has won the bid this year for sewer lining, so he's going to do the work together. So we're working on that contract as well. This will be lining of clay tile lines in the downtown area to reduce root intrusions and excess water or water that's unwanted from entering the system from stormwater events. And we also have our advanced metering infrastructure, which we call AMI for short. This would be a system that would advance our meter reads from a mobile application where our crew worker runs around in a pickup and collects the meter's information by a remote reader once a month, to a new system that would allow us to take daily reads of the water meters. What this will do for Branson is it'll help us with leak detection on the customer side as well. It'll give the customers the ability to log into a portal and view their usage, similar to like what White River or Liberty has, where you can look at your usage on a daily basis. So it's a great tool for also water conservation as well. They can keep track of how much water they're using, keep track of their bills. So what we're doing is it'd be a two-phase. It'd be first phase would be in 2024, and second phase would be 2025. We were aiming to replace all of our water meters, as well as install the infrastructure needed to capture those readings on a daily basis. So we have have drafted a request for proposal. We're trying to finish that up so we can get that sent out here soon. And that request proposal will be a method of assessing a system that meets our needs, but also meets the dollar amount that we're looking for as far as for costs. So. And then the force main upgrade for lift station 17. So this project was designed in 2020 and 2021, placed on hold through the funding. It consists of replacing an existing 12-inch force main in the Fall Creek Valley that has had multiple issues. We've actually got a DNR letter in the past stating that we need to do something about the force main. And so we designed it, and we've been waiting on some funding as well. I've been in conversations with the county on sewer sales tax. They're open to it, but they want to see some of our other lift station projects get finished or underway a lot further. Spending those dollars first. So later on in the year, I'll be approaching the county again to try to seek those dollars, and it's in the amount of approximately $1.6 million. And then other than our major capital, we have 23 other small capital items. This would be like our replacements of pumps and equipment, IT security network upgrades and valves and generators and vehicles, approximately $2 million worth that we are well underway with as well. We're about a third complete on those. And then part of that is our water tower annual maintenance, which we have renovated Crosby Tower by Fire Station 1. And then we'll have a second tank, Dewey Bald tank will be renovated in September of this year as well. So we're moving along. Calculating the dollars up, I think we have roughly $35 million in projects out there right now for this year. It's like Matt said, we're juggling and running hard, trying to get this stuff going for the city, and we've had great successes. So we're proud of it.
Question on your AMI project.
Yes.
Is Chad or somebody involved in terms of looking at the cybersecurity aspects of what you're evaluating?
So yes, we'll involve IT with that. We involve finance with it as well, because there's data transfers from that system over to the new Tyler Technologies system as well. So we'll definitely be involving everybody in that.
Okay, great. And then one other question, and it's probably just because I'm new to the committee here, but at some point, do we get a financial look at this that's time phased in our budget? I mean, this is great. I really appreciate the update overall, but just on a pure financial perspective, are there going to be schedules that show us when these millions are going to be spent throughout the next couple of years?
Sure. So every year I bring before the Finance Committee as well as the board our water and sewer rates. So I have to do a rate study every year, and it's part of that model. So we operate a 20-year model. We project out our expenses, our operational expenses for 20 years, and as part of that, you'll see, I'll share that information with you, our 5-year outlook for projects and the spending, not only on on the water sewer rate side, but also on the tourism side, the tourism funded projects. So, yep, certainly. That usually takes place in around August to September.
Super, thanks.
Any other comments from the committee?
I was going to share one. Sir, you're probably familiar with this, but I figured I'd share it for other folks that are listening. Department of Homeland Security has the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. Water and wastewater treatment is one of the 16 critical infrastructures. So when we're looking at the dollars, it seems like a lot for a resident. But at the end of the day, we have one of the about 153,000 systems in the entire country. So 80% of the U.S. population is using those systems, and we have one in Branson, so that's a big deal. Second, wastewater is only 16,000 nationally. We have one of those, and that about 75% of the population uses those systems. When you look at those, they're obviously necessary for our health and our economy, so the fact that we've got staff and leadership that are willing to seek out the funding opportunities and devise plans and strategies to protect that critical infrastructure from anything, it could be natural or man-made, is a big deal to us as residents. And the other part of that, on the rate model study, we have competitive rates. So not only do we have some of the best rates in the region, but we have the best performance. So as a resident, that's a huge win for us and a huge success to the staff for putting that system in place. So thanks for what you do. It's more of a comment for everyone listening, because sometimes we get wrapped up in the millions, but we're very blessed to have some of the infrastructure that we do have.
I appreciate that, Alex. And we'd budgeted $100,000 for cybersecurity PLC updates for our water and wastewater systems for this year. We're actually doing this week. We've had an outside company come in that's helping us with a system assessment of those PLCs, trying to find our weaknesses and update those to better systems as well. And then in the background, we're doing some other things that don't like to publicly share because we don't want all that information out there. But in the background, to make sure that we can face any kind of threats that potentially could come our way, as a lot of folks are hearing in the news, and we've had some conversations with the federal level as well, participated in some webinars and things of that nature. So we're definitely attuned to that and being very conscious of that. So you'll see some dollars even in this next budget cycle where we're going to request some dollars for future security upgrades, not only just in the cyber world, but also just physical security, more cameras, things of that nature. So
It definitely shows it's going to pay off for us in the long run. And just from my chance that I've had to interact with Department of Homeland Security, it's come up more often than not. And the fact that the town of 12,000 has the systems that we have in place is a huge, again, success. So thanks for doing what you do, and thank you to the leadership that's put it in place over the years.
yep, thank you.
Alex, thank you for those comments. Kendall, I am just more and more impressed. It can be almost exhausting listening to the capital improvements you're working on. Matt, your department, the capital improvements you're working on, it sure provides this committee with a high level of comfort of the ability that we have to be proactive and to make a lot of these positive changes.
Thank you. It
Very
takes the
impressive.
support, and you guys have
Very
been supporting
impressive.
us, and we appreciate that.
Anybody else from the board? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Next will be you don't look like the Branson Convention Center Initiative Review. Hi, Cindy.
Thank you, Mayor. I wanted to give you a brief update on our capital projects. I also want to just kind of echo what Kendall just said. I mean, we really appreciate the support. This is a big year for capital projects with the Parks Department, as Cherie kind of mentioned during her report. We have 12 projects totaling $6.2 million, And so obviously, we have the turf project and the campground project, which is a majority of it, but that's a big deal for us, and we are in progress and have completed 10 of those projects. So that's great news as well. So I'm going to lead with my star, which is the turf. Most of you were at the Turf's Up, and you saw that that is opening and operating. We have youth baseball happening already, and we have another tournament this weekend, so a lot of great things with that. That was funded through, about 50% of it was funded through the ARPA project or the ARPA grant, nearly 1.6 million. So we have been reimbursed to date $929,956.13. So we try to kind of turn that around really quick as they'll allow us to do that. And so I think we are waiting on another, here somewhere, I think we're waiting on another payment at $420,000. So hopefully that will make those financials look better. So that consisted of, I think you all know, the three major projects, which was the turf, which was the majority of the cost of the project, the $2.8 million, the new LED lighting, which was $297,000, and then the sunshades, which is $115,000. So when you total that all up, it's about $3.3 million, and we're going to be projected to be under budget by $1,200. So not a lot, okay, but it's under, right? So that's that project. I'm going to move to the campground project. We've had our struggles on that. That has, been kind of a struggle to get off center a little bit on it, but some good things are happening recently. Utilities department was able to tie in the water lines from the neighborhood last week, so that was a great sign. And we're so that will set us up to install our water lines throughout the site. We've been waiting for a while for the manholes to be manufactured and built, so those are done. And so that's really going to kind of set the grade for the sewer lines. So hope to start digging and installing those soon. We've got fiber coming along that will have to be installed as well. And then the campground road project has been awarded to APAC. So I was just going to comment, Kendall and Matt just did all their presentations, and in addition to the like millions of dollars in projects they're doing, they're also helping me with this project. And so it couldn't happen without their expertise and support, so I appreciate that. Some of our other projects we have going on right now as we speak, our community center flooring and remodel projects happening. So that will be kind of a rehabilitation of that facility, which is 32 years old. I'm so excited about that. I was down there last night late kind of helping with that, and it's looking really good. So that's, and then we're going to get a new roof on that facility. We have quite a few roof leaks, and so I've been working with a contractor on that, so we're hoping to use cooperative purchasing and streamline that project, but the new roof will be awesome. We have, like I said, it's a metal roof, and so want to replace that, so that was supported in this budget. We also have, as part of our building maintenance arm of our park maintenance division, we've got these replacement VAV temperature controllers in the City Hall. That is, you might have remembered I presented that a while back. It's kind of a little boring and hard to kind of explain what that is, but I can tell you it relates to how the temperature feels in City Hall. So it's really important. And so that's going to happen. We've got that on order, but it will not happen until September and October because they have to build those. Same with the replacement HVAC unit at the Recplex. We have two big units. We replaced one last year on the gym. These are 40-ton units, and we're replacing one this year. And so that won't happen again until the fall. It takes at least 6 months to build these units, so that's why you have to start. So I'm sure the convention center people can relate to what I'm saying. You have to build them in advance, but we've tried to be really proactive with especially the units at the Recplex because nobody wants to be out, heat or cooling or anything like that. So I'm proud how we've tried to keep up on those. We were also funded to replace a few vehicles this year, a 2004 Chevy Colorado, a 2002 Chevy 1500, and a 2008 Ford Escape, and a 2006 John Deere tractor. So we have some of the, Michael likes to say we have the oldest fleet, or our department does, but so we are so grateful to be able to replace those. And so those are all the projects going. So a couple of projects that we're definitely going to be concentrating on the second half of the year is the trail plan for the 168 acres behind the building. Got some things going on that, but really haven't really, pushed in on that because had a few other things going on, right? And so that's something we're excited about working on. And then also, Mayor, you probably remember this, the community asset replacement plan. So that's a $300,000, really excited about that. So that's going to be used to upgrade some of our neighborhood parks. We have 3 or 4 kind of we're targeting to do some things, and we've got a few things going on with that. So that's what's going to happen in the next probably second and third quarters. So that is my update. Be happy to answer any questions.
Wow. Anybody?
Thank you again. The turf project is so cool because now I'm sure that's going to help in the long run with sustainability. But what comes to mind for me as a parent is nicer facilities for our kids to go and attend and do sports at. And then from a tourism standpoint, it's going to extend our playing season. So economic impact is going to come from it too. So just an all-around win again. So thank you.
Absolutely.
And for increasing the quality of life for our residents, these neighborhood park improvements, I'm just hearing accolades for those improvements.
For sure.
Making a huge difference.
Yeah, we're very, very excited. We like to do new stuff, but we really like to take care of our stuff that we have. And so that's really important. And I've actually been speaking to a few residents recently about kind of some of those ideas, and kind of got a couple of parents to look through some playground magazines and get their opinions of things like that. So yeah, we're excited about those projects.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Very impressed. Now I believe we're moving on to the Branson Convention Center initiative review. Sounds like they're going to be asking for money.
No, this is for the incentive fee.
Oh, the
Hi,
incentives, yes.
and welcome to the new members. For the new members, I'll kind of give you a background. So the incentive fee is based on the management fee that we give. They can have up to 100% of the management fee we give them every year. We sent out an email, so you saw the criteria we based it on. We currently have a calculation up that is based on a long-term member's recommendation that we give 100% of all of the criteria except for the bottom part, which is based on Chamber of Commerce and the Hilton giving, they have a survey they fill out. We averaged their scores, and it was 1 out of 5, and their average was 4, so obviously they got an 80%. So obviously, this is for you guys to decide what you want us to take to the board for approval. But we have done a pre-calculation based on, like I said, recommendation of a long-term finance committee member and scores given to us by Chamber and Hotel.
Jolene, I really appreciate you presenting this to give this board some guidance. What area, and I know we're talking $3,000, what area did they lack in?
On which?
For not getting the 100%?
The 80%, okay, so we, on the presentation, if you will go to the exhibits, okay, so I think it was number 4 and number 6. So for the Hilton group, they gave 4s across the board, except for 2 areas, they gave 3, which is the average, so it's not bad.
Oh, I see, okay.
Yes. So as you can see, she said at the bottom of the first paragraph, solid 4s with 2 exceptions, 4 and number 6 received 3s. And then if you could go to the Chamber.
Before you move on, improvements have made to the parking garage. It still has cleanliness and maintenance issues. Are we addressing that? Yes. Okay.
We are now making daily passes through to make sure that that's taken care of, and then we're adding some additional signage to make sure the experience
Okay, now I'm going to ask you if you would share with what you just said to everybody else.
Hi, sorry, Angie Teal with the Branson Convention Center. Yes, we are making daily passes now through the parking garage for cleanliness, making sure we're pulling the trash and sweeping up bird droppings and bird feathers and things of that nature. And then we are also adding some additional signage for compact cars because I know some of the spaces are a little bit smaller than the others to make that experience better. And then we're going to meet next week with our parking, the pay system to see if there's some changes that we can make to make that experience better as well.
And do you know what they were referencing with the maintenance issues?
I was not made aware of any maintenance issues, so I would have to follow up with Wendy on that. Yeah, I just saw this today, so I will follow up.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I will point out that these surveys were based on 2023, so Angie obviously came later in the year, so
No excuses.
Okay.
Just because she wasn't here
Okay,
doesn't make her
so
not responsible.
She really slacked last year, not being here, coming and working. She didn't know she was supposed to be in Branson. I'm horrible person.
Okay, so if we go back to the grading sheet that you had.
Okay, so if we can go to, yeah, the chamber one. And obviously, they scored 4s and 5s, so obviously, a math person, I took the numbers, averaged them, 4, beautiful.
Okay, and I know you sent all this out to this committee.
Correct.
Does anybody on the committee have any questions about the process of the scoring, any of the scoring, and how the initiatives are determined? Incentives.
I actually did have one question on Section 2, completion of goals and objectives. I appreciate, first off, gone to the convention center just recently for an event for my daughter for archery. Fantastic event, which was wonderful. Just want to say that's beautiful. But the completion of goals and objectives for number 2, do we know what those goals and objectives are? Because I did not see that in our information.
We have no yearly, like, hey, now you need to meet this. Now you need to meet this. I think for the most part, the goals and objectives are just operating it, meeting their budget, and but I don't think we have a yearly, hey, we want you to meet this standard. I don't know what you want to do going forward, but according with these scores with 2023, there was no standard that they were required to meet.
Angie, do you want to share?
It was my understanding that that one was the budget and then the survey satisfaction. Is there another section that I'm misremembering?
I think he's talking about number 2. There was one that's.
That's correct. Completion of goals and objectives to achieve this portion, the incentive payment, looking at what goals and objectives assigned by the
Can
city.
you go to where the scoring, yeah, that one. Go to number 2 on that.
I can add some context here too. Since Angie's come on board, we have regular meetings to where she hasn't had an opportunity to do a yearly one yet, but the thing I'm most delighted with as of late is Angie's communication to me directly and to sit down with us and talk about urgent needs that they've had. And recently, we just gave them another $500,000 to address some of those urgent needs. But she's taken assessments of all the facilities and what it takes to run a top first-class organization and shares with me what her goals are and the different things that she's trying to meet. So I have not had to give her any instruction or direction. She's got the vision, she's got the plan. And I think, Angie, maybe you and I can work better for going forward, where we articulate those in writing and we share that with this committee and with the board. And so it's not just me and you, right? As much as I love it, but so that everybody knows, like, this is where you're going, because, man, the future is bright.
Thank you. Yeah, and another thing that Kathy and I talk about is the immediate needs, but we are working on a 30-year capital plan, so kind of goes right with the previous presentation of setting the city and the venue up for success after, I retire, wherever I do. But making sure that the financial side of that is planned well in advance versus, every 6 months be coming saying, hi, I need more money. That's nobody wants to hear that.
Matt, did that answer your question?
It did. Thank you very
Okay,
much.
great.
Appreciate it.
Well, and actually, I was thinking, next time we do a capital review, you know, we could always include her in the.
Great idea. Okay, so if there's no questions, are we voting on this approval? So,
Okay, yeah, so are you wanting to go with this calculation? And
does any committee member have any suggestions of having a different amount that our accounting department has calculated of the $151,361.54?
Mr. Mayor, just for clarification, so the difference between the full award and what this award number is how much money?
I don't know the exact difference, but it's about
$3,000.
3,000. It's just short of,
3,000.
yeah, $3,000. Yeah, 3,000.
Mr. Mayor, then does this
Yes.
come to the Board of Aldermen? Is that the next stop?
This is the recommendation to the Board of
Board,
Aldermen
yes.
to approve it.
The only other question
Yes.
would be, sir, looking at number 1, bullet A, the level of customer and client satisfaction shall be determined by a survey. And so I don't know if number 5 and number 1 are connected by those results.
Well, I do know that, and that's a very good question. Years ago, the convention center would send out surveys, and the surveys were returned to the convention center, and then the convention center would give us a report of what those scores were.
We have a
And-
memo from them. I'm sorry to interrupt. We do have a memo. Are you pulling that up? I saw Tracy move, so good.
Okay, so, yeah, so a few years ago, that was changed, that the convention center sends out the survey to the vendors, and the responses do go back to the convention center. However, the city is copied on those responses.
Yes, we initiated a new survey platform in December of last year called ASM Insights. And so we don't have the ability to forward the direct responses to you through that, but I will be providing a quarterly update on those scores. And those survey scores from 2023 are of the old system. And they were all increased from 2022.
I must be on some list because I get a
Are you
copy.
still getting them?
Yeah, I think we're still getting the actual responses from the vendors, so we can keep a close eye on you.
That's probably a good idea.
I think it's a great idea. I just think that adds transparency.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah. But so now it's all on an online dashboard versus individual responses coming back, so we can do some really great reporting with that. It's a new system, so we're still trying to build up the data on it. But I will see if I can get you guys access to that dashboard, because it's
Yeah.
really great.
You know, and I'll tell you, everyone that I look at, occasionally there's suggestions, occasionally there's complaints, but the vast majority are very impressed with their experience. Their experience that they scored after the event was much higher than they anticipated it to be, right? And their desire to repeat visitation and to refer business was very high.
Yeah.
So I enjoy getting them.
Yeah,
Does it
I
tell
really
me what-
love that one where their perception changes in a
Yes.
positive way after they
Sure.
get here. That's obviously one of my most important ones that I look at.
Huge, yeah.
Mr. Mayor,
Yeah.
I'm going to make a motion that we, I guess, make a edit to
Go ahead.
this and actually give them 100%, because based on my past 2 years of experience and what the convention center's done to the level that they do it, I mean, you know, it's the crown jewel of our community, and by all means, I mean, the metrics are there. You know, some of the subjective to some degree, but when you look at the numbers, I mean, the numbers say a completely different complexion, and I think they should be awarded 100% of that incentive.
Thank you.
Any committee members want to comment on that? Oh, was that a motion? Okay, so we have a motion and a second to approve go back to the dollar amount, the full amount,
Is
154?
that so when you say are you saying the 154, or are you
Yes.
saying the 151, which?
I
Let's
think they
go
should get, I think
right
they should get
here.
100% on the feedback from the chamber.
So the
and-
motion is for the 154,450 as the incentive award amount.
And that's based, again, on their performance
Sure.
and what the outcome has been the last couple of years that I've been on the board. You know, they definitely more than meet the expectation. I think they, you know, exceeded tremendously. You know, prior management and now with Angie there, it's definitely a good foothold for them.
So we have a motion and a second. Is there further discussion from the committee?
I would have one thing I'd like to add if possible. For number 3, operating goals, it says the previous 3 years. The report only listed 1. When the aldermans get this to take a look at it, if we can make sure all 3 years worth of financial information is there, that way they won't have any objections in coming back, because I do think we should be able to provide the incentive sooner rather than later without delay.
It's a great point.
That's a great point. I do have a question on that. So that would be 22, 21, and 20. 20 and 21 were COVID years. So is there any concern that those numbers are going to be lower anyway? I mean, that's
No,
going
there
to
is
show
so
that the financials are better, but I want to make sure that that's
Yeah, Angie,
understood.
from a business mindset, there is so much grace. In fact, we don't have time to get into it, but I believe that what our convention center did during that COVID period was nothing short of remarkable. They really did well. I mean, relatively speaking,
Yeah,
right?
for
Compared to a lot of others.
Yeah, a lot of those are still recovering.
Yes, for
Still
sure.
recovering.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm happy to get those numbers and get them to Cherie so they can.
Maybe just bring those to the board.
Yeah. Oh, you guys have them. That makes sense.
We have them.
Yeah,
Then, yeah.
we'll just bring those to the Board of Aldermen.
Yes, continue to give them to us by.
Okay, are there any other questions from the committee? Ready to vote? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Pose same sign. Ayes have it.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Angie, well deserved, well deserved. And how you doing on our expansion?
It's going to be completed next week, on time and on budget.
Very nice. Monthly financial report.
Okay, I'm just going to give a quick update for the finance department.
Sure.
And I'm so glad that you guys did it at the 100%. I couldn't agree more. It was very subjective, it was a little confusing, and they do an outstanding job, so thank you. Okay, so for the finance department, our big project this month is we implemented our new accounting system. So we have
On
rolled
the
out.
ERP?
Yes, sir. We've rolled out Tyler. We have done 5 check runs. We've cut almost over 200 checks. We're about to do another 80 tomorrow. We've done all kinds of check requests, we've created hundreds of new purchase orders within the system, requisitions. So the first, it's been 3 weeks now, it's been hard. It's a new process, so we're learning it, we're training end users, they're learning it, but we are making our way. So next time we'll have financials from our new system. So we're really excited, we're almost over that mountain, we're so close. That's just what we've been working pretty hard on, and then we're hoping our auditors will be here next week too, so just a lot of activity in the finance department, but things are going well, so.
So, sure, would you say it's in a beta stage right now?
We have implemented it, we're looking good, like we are on track.
And are you doing a backup or something? No?
Nope.
We're
Yeah,
just we're fully engaged.
We're fully engaged, yes, sir.
Well, since I'm getting a bunch of yeses, is that online?
Well, it's not, no, not yet,
Dark. Track.
yes.
Okay, so we're implementing it, we're using it. I can assume shortly it'll be available online?
Yes.
And when that goes online, I would like to have you or Chad give an explanation to our community, what it means, what they can see.
Yes, sir, I think
Yeah,
that would be
no,
great. I think that would be great.
That has been in process for several years.
Yes.
Tons and tons of work has gone into that. I know there's several departments that we still need to work on.
Yes, sir, we will be rolling out license and permits next, and then after that, we will be doing asset management, and then after that, we will be doing utility billing.
That is nothing short than miraculous.
Well, and I forgot HR, they're actually the next one, they're right behind us.
Right.
So a lot.
That is exciting. I
Yeah, it
remember
is.
talking about this years ago.
Yeah, so we are excited.
Remember that, Michael, on those meetings?
Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
So not to be a wet blanket, but I just want, and everything is going well, but as you guys can imagine, when you install new software in your computers, that it's not without bumps and wailing and gnashing of teeth at times. And so there have been challenges that we've got, so I don't want to overpromise and
No.
underdeliver. But, you know, this is the first module that we're implementing now and using day to day. The ease is fantastic for the end users. It's been a really, again, when we talk about enterprise-wide initiatives, the amount of things that are so high level and so 100 miles an hour that are going on at the city at this moment in time is nothing short of amazing. I mean, it is a blur of activity. And you can imagine when we're trying to run all these different projects that you heard about today, and then implement a brand-new computer system that everybody has to use, and we're getting ready for the HR modules to come on after that, which will include all kinds of different things that touch every employee. It's a lot of work, so I just want to say, I don't want to overpromise and say, hey, we'll be ready to do a big fun launch and a big party with a study session, or however, you know, you guys choose for us to enroll, but when we get there, and we are not rushing it for the sake of trying to get something done fast. We want to make sure we take the right steps and the right time in order to implement correctly, because it is so critical to me, especially the utility billing. That keeps me up at night, so I just thought I'd share that with you all. So thank you to Cherie and your team,
Yes, thank you.
outstanding.
Yes.
So Kathy, for clarity, then accounting is not, what I'm hearing you say is it's not just an independent module. We have to have these other modules completed so they interact with accounting.
Yes, yes,
Well,
absolutely.
shucks.
But we're
Hey, chop,
working on
chop.
it, and we were the first ones, so.
Well, and I'm assuming the accounting one might have been the biggest one, right? to
Well,
convert over?
utility billing will be the biggest one.
Which one? Utility?
Utility billing, and that's our last one, and it's customer. So we have a lot of training days and a lot of stuff planned for it, but it's a big one.
Okay,
It's
so
a
this
really big
won't
one.
be on next meeting's agenda. Thank you for the clarity. Thank you very much.
All right, and that's all I have.
Well, that concludes our meeting. We're down to reports. Any committee member have any input, comments, questions, suggestions?
I'll just throw one more thing out there today. So looking at the reports, it goes without saying that the tourism tax, this is again, everyone in this room is familiar, but the tourism tax is a huge driver for us. And as I continue to have conversations with other business owners and residents that are my age, younger than me, or a little bit older than me, they're still continually not aware of how important that is. And the split on where the infrastructure dollars at 75% and 25% in marketing. I know the CVB did a real good job in keeping that up and aware, so it got renewed, but just to remind everybody that that is a vital piece in how we're able to deliver these projects that were talked about during the meeting. So thanks again for being good stewards of that.
Thank you for saying that, Alex. And just real briefly, the tourism tax is 4%. 3/4 of it goes for our infrastructure, which means 3%. 1% goes to marketing. Rough numbers, 1% for marketing is give or take 4 million, which would mean the infrastructure is about 12 million. You're exactly right. If we didn't have that 12 million from the infrastructure, we couldn't be doing these projects. You're exactly right.
And I know the CVB brought this up, but the big thing that people struggle with that is it's targeted from specific entities. So there's a lot of misnomers on that people are being billed for things that they're not actually being billed on, like groceries. So it's thoughtful, and it comes from the stakeholders that drive those folks in here. So that's how we're able to flex from a town of 12,000 and provide a fire department and police department that can suit up to 9 to 10 million visitors. So it's that important.
Thank you again, Alex. Any other comments? Hearing none, I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
You push your button.
Second.
We have a motion, a second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, same
Aye.
sign. Ayes have it. Thank you very, very much.